Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Friday the 14th of May 2021. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to use my deck of cards again for today's reading, the Gregory Scott Tarot. Let's see what the cards have to say about Friday and how you can use the energy to your advantage and have the best day possible. So let's see what the tarot has to share about this day. Okay, first card, we've got the Eight of Cups, the Tower, and the Page of Cups. Wow. So you may have to walk away from everything and lose everything to discover your heart's desire. Wow. So the card is saying that if you do everything the same way over and over again, things are going to stay exactly the same and you're not going to be surprised. The Eight of Cups is a card that shows a young woman kind of walking away from all this fabulous stuff. She's got a house, a beautiful house in the background. She's got a loving partner. She's got childhood memories and a feeling of security. Loads and loads of abundance and prosperity. It's just kind of showering coins and prosperity here. And she's saying, do you know what? I have all these great things and I've worked for them and I ought to be happy, but I'm really not. And I owe it to myself to continue on with my life and to keep going until I'm in a place where I feel content. It's not about the actual things I've got in my life. It's a feeling. That's why she's wearing this blue dress. It's a feeling of being content. So whether you live in an RV by yourself with no sense of security, and that's what works for her, then that's what makes her happy. And that's just the way she's been created. And I feel that we all respond to things differently. And by trying to create a kind of postcard life for yourself, you're really doing yourself a disservice because you may be satisfied and things that aren't mainstream may make you happy. So, I mean, if you have grown up in the West, like I have, then what do they tell us? I mean, we're all kind of trained to have certain kind of lives. And when things appear internally or within us that prevent us from having all of these things, it creates conflict and it needs to be accepted. And well, it doesn't need to be accepted, but if you want to be happy in your own skin, then it's really important to please yourself and to pursue the kind of life that satisfies you and gives you this sense of being content rather than going for what everyone else thinks you should and ticking all the boxes of success. If they don't make you happy, then it's all worthless and you may as well keep going and design your life in a way that suits you, in a nutshell. And that's what she's doing. She's saying, you know, for someone else, the home may be the ultimate dream, but it isn't my dream. And I don't want to be in this relationship, even though it feels wonderful and great. I have other things that I need to do. And whether other people understand that or not is really irrelevant. I've got to be true to myself and I've got to keep going. And if that creates poverty and insecurity and loneliness, then that's a bullet I'm going to have to bite. And I'm just going to have to accept those things on this journey that I'm on. That's how I've been put on this planet, and that's what I'm going to have to do. So it's not the easiest card in the world, and it's not super comfortable and pleasant. But in my experience, those are the people I respect. The people who kind of live their own lives and who are true to themselves, and to say that is not part of my destiny. I'm going to have to keep looking for my own destiny. Thank you very much. And whether you approve of that or not, I owe it to myself to kind of see where this journey leads me. And if you're able to embrace that, we've got the Tower, and the Tower is a card that says things that have been in place and solid and that have made you feel structured. And if you take it to the extreme, maybe even a little bit trapped or suffocated, those things are going to be blown up by embracing this kind of attitude that you owe it to yourself. And you go flying, not in a negative way, but your circumstances may blow up a little bit. So, all the physical stuff, which is shown in the background here. She's wearing a red dress, which is like the root chakra, and that relates to all of these things. So the financial security, the career, the house, the mortgage, all of that stuff. That may feel like it's being thrown out the window, but at the same time, you're no longer stuck in this ivory tower, feeling isolated and hopeless and like you can never get down. Because we've got this tower above the clouds here. It's not easy to just walk out the front door. Something drastic has to happen for you to be able to choose a different tower to live in. It's kind of like being a victim of your own success. If you believe all these things that society tells you and you go for all the securities and stuff, then once you've got them all and you've scaled the tower and you're sitting there at the top, you're like, okay, well, now what? I didn't want any of this stuff. I'm going to have to start all over again. So you can really save yourself a lot of effort by getting clear on who you are and what's important to you and what you want, and start with that rather than living someone else's dream and then feeling really empty and disappointed at the end of it when you've achieved it. That's the worst. I think that's worse than not pursuing anything, pursuing something you feel you ought to because someone has told you or because society has pushed you in that direction. And then that feeling of emptiness, that feeling of, wow, this has absolutely no substance for me whatsoever. That is really disappointing. So this is an opportunity to build structures which are meaningful to you specifically. And then the Page of Cups is a card that is all about new beginnings, new love, young love, innocence, naivete, this ability to kind of dream and to say, do you know what, life can be magical and wonderful, and if I pursue it, I can have experiences that no one else I know has, and I can really manifest an amazing experience. And you can only do that if you think for yourself. If you take all the suggestions from family and society, which are all about, being successful and safe and driven and making a positive contribution. If you follow all the rules, in my experience, you don't end up wonderfully thrilled and satisfied by the end of it. Sometimes you have to break the rules and be a little bit silly in the sense that, hey, I can have true love. Or I can find a place that is right for me. No one else is going to understand that. And when you share it with other people, they're always going to put you down and say, oh yeah, isn't that romantic? Or aren't you naive? Or how sweet of you to believe in the process of life. They may have, been disappointed and they may be jaded, and that's why they have no dreams left and they just have to pay the bills and see their accountant. But for you, that's not right. And whether you're 15 or 58, you can really have an authentic life that is about you and your hopes and dreams. You don't have to have this cookie cutter, you don't have to stay in the mold that's been laid out for you. And again, in my experience, if you break the mold and do it yourself and you say, what is it I really want, regardless of everything in my life that says otherwise, then you're giving yourself an opportunity for real love with yourself. Because if you pursue what it is you want, or you try and find out what it is you want, that gives you a sense of pride. It's like, do you know what, at least I tried, and at least I thought for myself and I did my own thing here. I didn't just conform and tried to make a ton of money and decided to look like everybody else so people would find me attractive. At least I tried. And that, in my experience, that's the way to build self-esteem, to really work with yourself and the person you are. Because sometimes we can't do anything about the person we are, and we can either reject ourselves or embrace ourselves. And when you at least make the effort, then things can work out. They're not always going to work out, but at least you're putting yourself on the right track. And the cards are saying that today it is good to be naive and to believe in the process of life being good and having your back and wanting you to have magical, wonderful, loving experiences. It's not just about, you know, sitting at the top of your tower and looking down your nose at everyone else who's struggling at the bottom and feeling bored half to death, but still having the sense of superiority because you followed all the rules and you got yourself secure. No, it's really about getting back to your roots and saying, I have feelings, I'm a spiritual being, and what is this about? This is the first day of the rest of my life, and I'm going to live my life authentically. And you'd be surprised how many people are completely incapable and unwilling to do that. Because a lot of people just want to look like Kim Kardashian. I'm sorry, but they do. And really, is that the goal? No, thank you. Nothing against the way she looks, but look like yourself. Look like the best version of you if it's just about appearance, you know? Don't try and look for someone else or look, don't try and look for someone else to complete you. Don't try and look like someone else. And if you are going to make your physical appearance everything, then try and look like the best version of you at least. Anyway, you can tell I'm getting worked up by this. It's a tough thing because some of us aren't born loving ourselves, and we have to kind of grow into these people that we've been given at birth, because it doesn't feel like a choice at times. And it's just like, well, I am this person. This is what I've got to work with? Really? Yes, it is what you've got to work with. And if you try your best, then at least you're giving yourself a chance for wondrous, miraculous, amazing things happening in your life. If you don't, you can get to the top, but I promise you it'll feel very empty and boring and suffocating because it's someone else's security and it's someone else's dream. Okay, we've got the tower, that is 16, and 8 is 24, and a court card, that's 25. 2 and 5 is 7, that's the mind and creativity. So get creative about your own life, think for yourself, and go for it. You are not here to simply feel safe and secure. You're here to live your life and to see what you can add to the world. You know, maybe you're destined to change society. No one at school is going to tell you that. No one in your family is going to say you're going to be a social reformer when you grow up and you're going to create a whole new religion. Only you can come up with that. No one else knows what you've got inside of you. And it's up to you to kind of demonstrate that to other people, to the world, to life, so that you can build your own tower. You can build your own structures of who you are, ones that actually suit you and that are, I think you get the point of what I'm trying to say. They're reflective of your identity and your personality, not someone else's. So quite a tall order here. Because, again, like I said, it's not particularly comfortable and easy to look at yourself and to say, okay, I accept myself, 1, and 2, I'm going to try and make the most of this. Most of us first dig our heads in the sand and say, I'm not like this at all. I'm just going to try and be someone else. Or I'm going to try and be this person. So it's about growing up and accepting yourself. There's nothing wrong with who you are, otherwise you wouldn't have been made the way you are. Simple. Have a wonderful day. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on Book Your Reading to audio reading with me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and share the video online. Have a fabulous day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.